Time to put a ring on it. That's right, we're talking about weddings. And in particular, we're going to look at 6 different wedding ideas or themes to help you bring the big day to life. Note that while initially this idea did stem from the My Wedding Stories game pack, I've decided to create this without the use of the pack, simply because the pack was released being more of a hot mess than the first time I did laundry.
Whites, colours, red, bills.
And with that, let's get started with the first idea, being to have a chateau wedding. This can feel very grand, and it can very much bring that main character energy to your wedding, letting it be a huge event all your Sims want to be at. If you do go down this path, then depending on how big your chateau is, I do recommend blocking off doors to areas that you're not using, just so that for the most part your guests gather where you want them to. Otherwise, there's really no telling where they'll end up. With this style of wedding, you can make use of a proper wedding hall and a separate reception area, and depending on how big the chateau grounds are, you could have this both inside or outside. Also keep in mind that the actual grounds of the chateau itself can really add to the fun. Maybe you have a gazebo Sims can hang out at, or you could have a woohoo bush hidden in a maze for those Sims who are perhaps feeling a little too much love or lust on the day. It can even be as simple as a stunning garden for your Sims to hang out in and chat. I really like to set up the chateau to have a front entry area where Sims can grab a few refreshments too, because we love that hydration life. Having a proper reception room or area at the chateau can be great as well. You can set up a few tables together to make a kind of bridal party area, though I will add, good luck getting the bridal party seated at the right table together. Of course, you'll want a bar for drinks and a kitchen for caterers to cook some delicious meals for your guests in. Also note that banquet tables and fountains that come with the luxury party stuff game pack are a really easy option to help you cater for large crowds in seconds. If you have the get together expansion pack, then don't forget a dance floor. And another thing that I really love to do is create a kind of photo booth setup where Sims can get photos together. This does become a little easier if you have tripods from the Moschino stuff pack, but of course you can make it work with just the base game as well. We're moving on to a very base game friendly wedding idea, which is to have a wedding in a park. You can rather quickly set this up within the Magnolia Blossom Park in Willow Creek, and it can make for a rather beautiful atmosphere, with the surrounding park grounds offering a few activities and some nice backdrops for photos. If you have the City Living expansion pack, then the Moschino Meadows lot comes with a ready set up wedding area, and it can be a super easy place for you to hold weddings, with the nearby building acting as a pretty good reception venue. Also keep in mind that with some effort put into lighting, a park wedding at night can be really impactful and look absolutely stunning. So definitely have a think about that if you wanted something a little bit different. Get ready to live your best life with animals, because we're moving on now to a barnhouse or farmyard style wedding, and you will ideally want the Sims 4 cottage living expansion pack for this one. This is another great option for an outdoorsy wedding, and what I love is that you can have a lot of fun bringing animals into the setting too. For example, placing wild bird and wild rabbit homes around the lot will mean that Sims can interact with birds and rabbits at the wedding. A chicken coop too is great for having even more life roaming around, and really, who doesn't love chickens? Note that if your wedding is on a community lot and not on your own residential area, then while it's great to have a coop for your chickens on the lot, you actually have to place chickens into your own inventory before the wedding and then place them in the world when you go to the wedding. I recommend giving them a little bit of food on arrival too. And although I didn't include an animal shed with a llama or cow in my own wedding venue, this is definitely a great way to add character to your wedding if you have the space. If on a community lot, then you'll have to BYO cow or llama. Also for cows, llamas and chickens, know that they'll return to your inventory when you return home from the wedding. I feel like this style of wedding gives off relaxed and fun vibes. I decorated the natural looking aisle with sunflowers, and although I opted for wooden looking seats, you can also consider hay bale seats to really get into that farm style. I set up the barn house as an area where Sims eat, with long dining tables and banquet tables for food, and I decorated the space with fairy lights and candles. The aim was to make it feel both really cute and quite intimate as well. Of course, there's a casual outdoor area to dance and grab a drink, And I also added a bonfire because for some reason I just felt that fit in nicely and was another good way to really give the wedding character. Just be sure not to put anything that can catch on fire too close to the bonfire, or else it might be a very chaotic evening. But hey, maybe you're all about that chaotic lifestyle and that's cool too. On to the fourth idea now, which is a quick one, being to have a Moroccan style wedding. For this, you'll ideally want to have the Courtyard Oasis kit, which will give you access to objects that have a heavy Moroccan influence. The great thing about this style of wedding is that Moroccan architecture is absolutely stunning, and it will provide a very ornate and intricate look for your Sims wedding, which will really make the big day look and feel beautiful. And for some reason, I felt that adding in bubble blowers from the City Living expansion pack as an activity at the wedding really fit in with the aesthetic and vibe. I'm not sure if that's just me though. Moving on to the next idea, which is to have a church wedding. The architecture in churches can be really stunning, although you'll have to excuse my church for not quite being the most amazing visual feast of a church that you've ever seen. I went for more of a gothic style for my vampire Sims, which allowed me to make use of the pipe organ from the Vampires game pack. But you of course can go for a more traditional church aesthetic too. Having your wedding in a church also works well as an indoor setting, which can sometimes be really helpful for if you have seasons and your Sims are getting married in winter. You know, because we don't have time to freeze to death on our wedding day. And now we're on to the sixth and final wedding idea, which is to have a beach wedding. You'll need either the My Wedding Stories or the Island Living expansion pack for this setup, and personally I have set my wedding venue up in Sulani. A beach wedding allows for a gorgeous day on the coast, making use of the sand and letting you take some stunning sunny wedding photos. While you'll definitely want the usual wedding day staples like a bar, an area to eat and a dance floor, being coastal also means your Sims can head into the water nearby for a swim, giving the venue a little bit of a spontaneous feel. Because swimwear will likely become a thing, make sure you're okay with your Sims' big day having a little bit of a more casual feel to it. Before we finish up, just a quick honorable mention, being that if you have the City Living expansion pack, then spontaneously getting married at the Romance Festival that occurs every second Saturday from around 5 PM to 1 AM in the Fashion District can be another cool option to consider, with a very pink, loved up aesthetic and pre-set up food stalls, romantic music and sakura tea for your Sims to enjoy. And with that, we've reached the end. That's 6 wedding ideas to help your Sims tie the knot in style. If you have any cool wedding ideas of your own, then I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed or found this helpful, then please subscribe and leave a like. I would really appreciate it, and have an amazing day. See you later.